Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Case file number 816. Written by jausbjorn, the dead pixel of Spacetime. I was walking through my kitchen towards my garage when I happened to look up and noticed a small black dot hovering between my head and the ceiling. At first I thought it was a fruit fly, but when I focused on it, it was pure black, round and stationary. I poked at it and it moved slightly to the left of my finger and hovered there. When I removed my finger, it returned to its first position. I thought it might be some dust on a cobweb, so I ran my hand above it to break the web, but nothing happened. It still floated there. I stared at it for a few seconds and noticed the area around it kind of blurred the ceiling above it, like a drop of water would. I poked at it again. It moved out of the way again, similar to how magnets move when you try to push the same poles together. I ran my hand in a circle around it. It didn't move. I changed positions and poked at it some more. It would move, but it always returned to its original position. Finally, I decided to put both my hands on either side and clap. Confident I had captured the culprit, I searched the palm of my hands for the speck. Nothing. I thought it was weird, but several times since, I walk under that spot and get goosebumps, but not in a fearful way, like a joyous feeling. I look for it often, but haven't seen it since. Has anyone else seen the tiny black dot? Case notes for file 816. The dead pixel of Spacetime. This is interesting because there's a contrast here between you feeling joyous in the idea of seeing this black dot again, and me. I was reading this and I actually felt nervous all along. Something about the story is deeply unsettling to me. Does anyone else get that? It's almost like a rip in spacetime, like the very fabric of the universe is degrading. And something about that really messes with me. Obviously, I don't want the universe to distort and collapse on itself or anything like that. Sort of like the universe becoming corrupt. I guess it repaired itself because the dot disappeared, but that shouldn't be happening at all, right? There was a comment that's less creepy, in my view, is that this is some sort of surveillance device, high-tech. I'm not sure exactly how that would work or function, but that's better than the universe showing signs of degradation or corruption. I'll go with that one for now, just to spare my mind. Case file number 817, written by Rich Arizard, 92. If you're about to die, just rewind time. I have had this happen 3 distinct times, several years apart. First was when I was an idiotic 16-year-old. I had recently gotten my license and was driving myself and my little sister home from school. I was cocky and tried showing off for her, turning up the music and headbanging for a few seconds. When I opened my eyes, I remember being a moment away from hitting a parked car. The very next moment, I was 2 blocks back where I turned onto the street. I pulled over in a panic and my sister asked why I was stopping. I asked her about that moment at least 10 years later, and she said she doesn't remember me headbanging or the music being loud, just wondering why I was stopping so far from home. Second, I was driving to a music festival when I was 20. The festival was a 3-hour drive away, and I went with 2 friends, one of which said we could take his new white Mustang. It was super early, and he said he was up late the night before, so he insisted that I drive. As we neared the festival, I got to a winding inner-city highway on-ramp, and I couldn't see the approaching traffic very easily, and I wasn't familiar with driving in the area. So I treated it as any other on-ramp, and I swear we got hit by a semi that I saw last minute, but the next instant I was at a complete stop at the end of the on-ramp with the semi crossing in front of us. I never brought that up with the other 2 since I was driving someone else's new car and it felt wrong to mention. Finally, I was in my early 20s and remember driving across the state with my sister on our way back from visiting family. It was late, probably 10 p.m. I was in the left-hand lane and someone came up on me faster than I had anticipated. It passed me on the right as I saw another car approaching quickly. I moved to the right lane immediately as the first car passed me to get out of the way of the second car. I hear a loud grinding sound as I hit the back trailer the first car was pulling, only to blink and see the first car and trailer were well ahead of me. There was no damage to my car, and my sister didn't see or hear anything weird once again. I'm at the point where I try to avoid driving if possible. I'd rather offer to just pay to help someone cover the cost of gas if it means I don't have to drive. I've been sitting on these for a while now, and I think about them pretty regularly whenever I'm on a long trip. Case notes for file 817. If you're about to die, just rewind time. Why didn't we think about that? So this seems like possibly just a lot of cases of quantum immortality. You're constantly jumping between universes because you're coming close to death all these times, or you actually do die in these universes. But it's happening to you so frequently, it might actually not be quantum immortality. Your own mind might be simulating these events in what feels like reality to you. Sort of like Nicolas Cage's character in Next, the movie, where he's able to project into the future. Sort of like running simulations of what the future is, or various possible futures. And your mind's doing this as a defense mechanism, perhaps? Driving is very dangerous, and maybe your subconscious is extremely attuned to this, and so you're trying to protect yourself by playing out different scenarios that could possibly happen, and then avoiding them. There's a buffer effect here, and that's the other thing I was speculating on the other day, is that maybe all of this reality that we perceive is a buffer of choices we already made, events that already happened, and we're just living it as a replay, snapshot. We're still making the choices ourselves, but it's all already done, and we're just going along with the flow of what we actually happened, and we don't know until we get there. But that information already exists, at least a little bit ahead. Obviously just speculation, and how much is buffered I don't know. The entire scope of the universe is future? Bonus file, written by Iridium 69420. Spirits so potent, we cried. Earlier this spring, me and a friend were in Naples, Italy. One night, around 2 to 3 a.m., when we were headed home to our hotel, a girl between 9 and 12 years old danced up to us and asked us for a cigarette. She did this in perfect English. We told her that we didn't have any cigarettes, and she followed up with, "Do you have a lighter?" I had a lighter on me, and I gave it to her. The fact that this was a literal child didn't cross my mind even once, and I, to be completely honest, would have given her a cigarette too if I had one. It felt like she could have asked for anything and I would have complied instantly. It felt like she was in total control. After she received the lighter, she said, "Thanks," and danced along further up the street. During this whole interaction, I had the feeling that something wasn't quite right, and after she moved on, I said to my friend, "Yeah, that was a spirit or something. What the hell was that?" And my friend totally agreed. Both me and my friend are not very superstitious or spiritual, and we sat up until early morning just talking about this experience. Both of us began crying somehow after she left, and it all felt really weird. I really can't explain what that was, but it was like a rush all through my body, and both me and my friend are still, to this day, convinced she wasn't human. Also, she had a boy with her, even younger, but he did not say a word. I don't even know if this makes any sense at all, but it is what it is. I think about it pretty much every day, and I just can't let go of the thought that this was something out of this world. Many have asked. No, she did not have black eyes. She took the lighter with her. It isn't the fact that a child asked for cigarettes in the night that's eerie. It's just the feeling we got from both of them. Either you believe me or not, it doesn't really matter either way. Mainly, I wanted to know if someone else had felt something similar to this. Case notes for the bonus file. Spirits so potent, we cried. So this is a local legend from Italy. It's the two children from Portici or Portici Road. They'll ask for anything they can use to set something ablaze. Create fire. But the most disturbing thing is, if you have nothing to offer, supposedly the little boy will then approach you and tell you how your mortal coil will end, how you die. Interesting legend though. It seems to mesh because you felt so uneasy. Maybe it was just the area being in a new place. Local legends, they probably have some validity.